Fundamentalist Christian radio host Bryan Fischer weighed in on the Planned Parenthood terror attacks, and he has a hilarious scapegoat.
And so they don't know which one of those things he said amounted to a specific motivation. So they're not even hazarding a guess. So we're going to have to wait for some days until we get more information about what might have driven this guy. But we do know that since he had moved to Colorado, he was a pot-smoking nutcase. And again, we've had stories. I mean, people laugh about this when you talk about people getting doped up or tanked up or high on pot and going off and doing brutal things. But we have seen one story after another where somebody will get, I mean, you got these edible forms of pot in Colorado, brownies and other kinds of things, and they contain a kind of pot, kind of cannabis that is maybe 5 or 6 times more potent than anything that people smoked in college a generation ago. It's not the same pot. It's got a lot bigger kick. And people eating these edibles, it tastes good. They'll eat one. They don't get any effect of it. They don't feel it, so they have another one. Still don't get any effect, so they have a third one. And by the time they get done, they got so much of that stuff in their system that they get hopped up and they get hyped up. We had one guy killed his wife, high on pot. Other guys are jumping off third-floor balconies. So there's no question that the kind of pot that's available in Colorado today can drive you into psychotic episodes. So I'll be interested to see. Maybe this guy wasn't using anything that day, but I'm going to be interested to see what he had in his system and if maybe this was a guy that was just tanked up on pot.
That was so shamelessly made up. Every aspect of it. He's like, shooting at a Planned Parenthood? The guy said, no more baby parts? The guy handed out anti-Obama pamphlets? His ex-wife says that he's really religious and conservative? Gotta be the weed. Weed. Oh, yeah, you're so pathetic. You're so pathetic. Guys, again, this all goes back to I have to be the good guy by definition. So, okay, yeah, shooting bad, murder bad. How do I work my way out of this? Blame the liberals somehow. Marijuana, weed, something. Just don't look at me. You don't see this on the left, man. You don't. Look, I'll do it right now. I'll be the first to admit. There are many people who, in the name of authoritarian, keyword, leftism, so some forms of communism, they killed people and they did terrorism. And if I see somebody who does that and they do it in the name of Marxism, I'll be like, that was done in the name of Marxism. You want to know why? Because I'm an adult. I can do that. But with Bryan Fischer, he's like, oh, somebody whose ideology is on my end of the political spectrum and who agrees with me on abortion being horrible. Goddamn liberals and your marijuana. I got him. No, you didn't. We see right through you. You're pathetic. What? For fuck's sake, man. Weed, of all the different drugs that you're trying to pin this on, weed is the drug where, especially if you eat it, okay, because he's actually right that it is more powerful the way your body metabolizes it when you eat it. This is gonna be your response when you do edible marijuana or you smoke some marijuana. This is the rest of the day for you. You're just gonna sit on your couch like that. The old joke is you eat some Cheetos, maybe some cookie dough ice cream, watch reruns of a shitty show, shitty sitcom that you like because you're high. And that's it. That's the day. If that drug, the worst reaction you can have is just paranoia. But it's not paranoia like, I must lash out and punch people. It's paranoia like, oh, don't hit me. That's the kind of paranoia. That's like worst case scenario. Whereas, if you talk about drugs like cocaine, maybe alcohol, you're much more likely to be violent on those drugs. What does he do? Classic Bryan Fischer. Zero evidence, zero research. The story doesn't even make sense, but he's like, I'm not saying it's marijuana, but I'm going to speculate about how it's marijuana for a really long time here and only not even bring up the fact that he's anti-abortion. The shooting was at a Planned Parenthood. He said no more baby parts and the laundry list of things that point in the obvious direction of the kind of terror this was.